Hi guys, I'm Chrissy Marsh, and I just want to give you a few little insights into today's episode. It is all health and wellness, but it's not here to stress you out. I'm not here to give you a huge list of the do's and don'ts and things you need to cut out of your life. What I am here to do is to give you some simple little tricks and tips that you can implement today that will have huge, lasting, long effects on your health and on your wealth. The biggest thing is we all have way too much to think about. And the last thing we want to go doing is stressing and trying to make sense of all this health and wellness space. So I want to make things simple for you. I want to show you ways that you can save money. I want to show you ways from one simple decision or choice you can really benefit with your health. Let's get to it. And if you love one little thing from this episode, please tell your friends, pass it on to them, and make sure you subscribe to Vodka Lectures. I'm in my dressing gown. Have I just woken up like this? Or have I just come home and I've jumped into my dressing gown about to take off my makeup? Let's work it out by the end. Wanting to chat desperately about the whole energy, wellness, obsession. So many people say, oh my gosh, your energy levels, oh wow, what you do in a day. I really wanted to share a few really basic things with you. They're very tiny little tips that will make huge differences in your life. That will basically, what are a couple of little things that you can implement that is not a lot of energy, not a lot of time, not a lot of overthinking, but it will make a huge difference to your life. And I think that's what everyone wants. We're all busy. People live, 1,000 lives in 1 week. They've got a million things to do, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of people that need your time. So I think, in order for you to become a healthier person, both mentally, physically, spiritually, it's easy. And it doesn't take a lot of effort and it doesn't take a lot of time. There's so many things that you are doing now that are useless wastes of energy, wastes of your time. And if you just change a couple of little things within a week, you'll find that you've got loads more time. You've got more time for yourself. If you kept a diary for the week and actually marked down from the moment you get up to the time you go to bed, what consumes you? What takes the most time from you? So I think it's really interesting, you speak to a lot of very successful people and how, do you achieve so much in a week, and it's through time blocking. And the reason why I want to find out what takes up your time within a week, because a lot of people say, in relation to health and wellness, oh, I don't have time to cook healthy meals, or, I don't have time to take any vitamins, or I don't have time to exercise. So I think before we even get started in this chat, let's think about how you spend your time. And there's so many little things that, I've learnt through keeping a house and, growing older and wiser, and really educating yourself in the health space. And I'm not talking about obsessing and reading every single label and looking at every single ingredient and, becoming one of those health nut, batshit crazy people that stress about being healthy and stress about taking vitamins and stress about what they eat. They'd be better off eating McDonald's every day and not having the stress. Stress is the greatest killer of all time. So what I'm trying to do is debunk this whole wellness space and share with you a few things I do and a few things that make my life so much easier, give me a lot of energy, and give me a lot of time to do the things that I like to do. And I mean, if you ever ask anyone, most people don't have the time. It's going faster and faster. Where's this year gone? Where's this month gone? So I also sort of would love to say, let's look at what's important in a week. It's the non-negotiables, the things that you can not get out of. Then there's the things you want to do that you're not able to do. And then there's also the things that you may never get a chance to do, but want to do. So let's start with the basics of the home and why I have so much energy and why people perceive I have so much energy. I'm super organized, and I'm not like, giving myself ticks here, but I'm trying to explain how I arose at this situation. Don't get me wrong, in my 20s, my room always looked like shit. There was mess everywhere, but over time, I've realized what's important to me. And I've, nursed people who have been sick and that haven't been well. And I think your priorities change and you really want to live the best quality life that you can live. And has got a lot to do with the food that we eat and what we put inside our bodies. And like, I'm not sitting here as a temple, I love a skinny bitch and I love the, odd bad food or whatever, but I'm sort of saying overall, if you want to try and keep to a majority, it's all those little things that add up that you really want to be doing. So a simple thing for me is the lemon and hot water every morning. Obviously that kickstarts the liver. I'm not going to go into every bit of detail, but that's something super simple, cost effective, consistent, that can really kickstart and boost your health. I've eaten all organic since I was 25, and that is a real luxury. I know a lot of people can't afford the whole organic thing, but there's other ways that you can make sure the food you're eating is the freshest it can be. Obviously, growers markets, farmers markets. If you do go and buy food from the supermarket and, fruit and veg, make sure you wash it, everything, before you put it away. A little bit of vinegar, apple cider vinegar and water, just soak them for a bit and manage to clean them. So by doing that once a week when all the food comes in, and obviously I can't order with 5, sometimes 7 people in the home, my entire food for the whole week. But I do make sure anything that comes in, it's really washed thoroughly before anyone's going to be eating it. So that within itself is taking out a whole range of pesticides, a whole lot of unhealthy things. And obviously all those little extra loads you put on your body with all those small things like that is obviously going to zap your energy levels. But what's good about it as well is you've planned the meals for the week. You know what you're going to eat for the week. You've ordered your groceries for the week. So that in itself is really time saving. Whereas if I'm running to the shops every week, that's obviously a whole other thing. And then I think the obsessing of, what am I going to eat overnight? And one person saying eat lentils, one person saying eat more protein, one person saying eat more veg, one person. So I'm not going to tell you what you should be eating, but I think it's great as an individual to take that responsibility to think, well, I want to eat as close to food's natural being, like obviously a banana, as that's 100% natural. Or, so trying to limit your processed foods. And obviously that's an expense. Processed foods, believe it or not, are expensive. Fresh fruit and vegetables closest to the source is going to be a lot better, for you generally, and is also going to give you a lot more energy. So, if someone's sitting there going, oh my God, Chrissy, you've got so much energy, but they're sitting there eating McDonald's every day and 5 cans of, soft drink or Coke, of course you're not going to have the same energy levels. So you've really got to be fueling your body. Another thing is chemicals and household. And I've talked about this before in podcasts, but that is so important. Burning candles that are putting toxins into your body, then going and using all these expensive, exit mold and bleachers, that's costing you a fortune to buy all those cleaning products. Make your natural, mop your floors with a bit of vinegar and hot water, clean your windows with vinegar and hot water. You don't need all those chemicals in your life. And that's another strain you're putting on your body and again, zapping your energy. I want you to stop right now and ask yourself the question, or grab an old grocery bill and actually look and see how much all those chemicals are costing you. I mean, dishwashing tablets are $45. They are pure chemicals. Every time you open that dishwasher and the steam comes up, that's polluting your entire house with chemicals. You can buy very, very cheap alternatives that are all natural, that work fantastically, that have no chemicals. And I'm not here to promote companies, but I also know that if I can make a all-purpose cleaner that would clean every surface, including bathrooms, toilets, everything, 3 simple ingredients, and the majority of it is water, a little bit of vinegar, and a cap full of either lavender or eucalyptus oil, any essential oil. And you could use that for a month for the same cost that you could buy one thing of floor cleaner. So it's super simple. It takes seconds. You just need a reusable spray bottle. You can buy them at any supermarkets for about $2.75. And you just keep refilling and reusing that with normal household vinegar, water, and a bit of an essential oil. And that can clean everything in your house. Bicarb soda is another incredible cleaner. And that's less toxins. You can spend that money elsewhere. You can spend that money maybe, buying a vitamin that you wanted to buy that you didn't have the money for, maybe buying a better quality produce, maybe buying grass-fed beef. I think you've got to look at areas that it's really, really harmful. And you think of people that are fanatical cleaners around the house, that fanatically want to keep their house clean. That's constant chemical exposure. That's a lifetime of chemical exposure. Things as simple as, looking at the shampoo that you use every day, the conditioner that you use every day. There's so much around, women's baldness, men's baldness. It's because the chemicals that you're continually putting on your hair. And I'm not saying, go all vegan and, well, yeah, I am. I'm just saying you look at the few small things that you can change within your life that is going to give you a lot more energy. Because if you think your body's sitting in the lounge room, sniffing that floor cleaner, and it's interesting, my kids now are even super sensitive to things like that. They can smell chemicals now when they walk in somewhere because they're so used to it not having chemicals. And that's the thing. I think all of our norms, it's become really sad. It's become so removed from the real food. You walk into a home and it's, exit mold, there's wind, it's so many chemicals, and you don't even realize what you're breathing in. It's like people that sit and burn those candles all day, every day. They're breathing in petroleum. They're breathing in so much toxicity into their lungs. And it's just a matter of simple education. And all these things are going to put less strain on your body and give you more energy to do the things that you want to do, and better health. And I think it's really important to, look back at our grandparents and look back at our, parents. What did they do? What did they use? Simple sugar soap. You can buy a container like this for about $4 and it will last you, a couple of years because you only use a capful in water to wash marks off walls. There's no toxic chemicals. All of these things, we've got to get back to a few basics in a way. I know that technology has taken us really, really far, and, the world is, moving at an exceptionally fast pace, and people are having less time to do the things they want, feel, not great within themselves. And I think it becomes this whole sort of, holistic, larger picture that you've got to take on your life. And, for a lot of people, it's a huge amount of stress, and stress can be a huge contributing factor to energy levels and why someone's got energy. And people stress a lot about, finances, being able to, feed your kids, put food on the table. And obviously those stresses are very, very hard, to alleviate. It's a fact of life. But I think it's really important then, if you do have those sorts of stresses in your life, try to counteract it, with some exercise that you might be able to do for yourself. And look, going for a walk is free. But how many mums and dads are so caught up in their busy weeks, they're so hectic, they don't prioritize their own health. And it's not until you do get sick with something that you then learn to prioritize. And I think someone that's stressing over ingredients, and that's not the right way to go. I think what you've got to look at is, yes, we are bombarded daily. Do I have cold baths? Do I have hot saunas? Do I have this? I'm a big believer in do what makes you feel good, do what makes you feel better. And I think a lot of the way that we feel amongst ourselves is how we think. Oh my gosh, I have to go to the gym today. I have to do that. No, you don't. If you're feeling about, I have to go to the gym, and you're forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do, well, that's not going to be good for your body. Go and do something that you want to do. I want to go for a swim in the ocean, or I want to go for a walk on the beach. It's not about going and pounding your body, and it's actually about being kind to yourself as a person, taking the time that you need as an individual and making little changes in your life. It might be something so simple as, when your husband comes home from work, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend is, spending an hour to connect with them, away from the phones, away from TV, sitting down and eating a nice meal together. Doesn't have to be a gourmet, elaborate feast every night, but think about the ingredients you're using, think about keeping it simple food. And that's the thing. I think, life is getting so busy, and there's so many tools to help us save time and so many tools to make things quicker. Whereas sometimes it's actually looking at the opposite and looking at ways we can simplify things, and especially, cleaning amongst your house, products that you spend a lot of money on. Also, beauty products, makeup. Look and see how much of that everyone has, how much consumption. You don't need all of those chemicals. You don't need all of those things in your life. So I think you've got to look, and also decluttering. If you go and have 5 cleansers and 5 eye makeup removers and 5 aftershaves and 5 this and 5 that, obviously that's wasted expense, but it's also a huge amount of clutter. I think, by simplifying things, and I'm a good one for doing this. I'm definitely not a hoarder. I do hoard memories. I do hoard, for example, if Billy wore a bib when he was younger and I loved that bib, I'll keep that. If there was a storybook they loved, I'll keep that. So I hoard memories, but in terms of hoarding around the house, I think a biggest stress for someone and the biggest energy zapper is coming into a house that's continually disorganized, that's, not functioning, things aren't where they're meant to be. By really taking a weekend to sort yourself out, taking a weekend to declutter things out of your kids' bedrooms, your wardrobes. I mean, I know how much money my son and his girlfriend make from selling the old clothes, from selling the old furniture, from selling, look at things around your house that you're really not using. Those old cameras, can I tell you, there is a buyer out there for everything. There is a buyer out there for old rags. There's a buyer out there for. So you've just got to get creative with things like that. Look at ways that you can create money, and also taking out that energy, shifting things. Move your furniture around the house. Move your bed around. Don't keep things the same way, stuck in the same rut. And if you've lived in the same house, mix things up. It does change the energy within a household. And also, look at your animals, the amount of money that you're spending on, on different products for them. Look at everything from sort of, okay, this week I'm really going to clear things out of my life. Because I think once you start clearing things out, you let a lot of energy to let other things in. Look at what's important in your life, and the things you actually have to do, or is the things that you keep doing out of habit. So really, this whole episode, or this whole chat today, was about freeing up time for you, freeing up time to give you more energy. Also looking at ways, simple little hacks, little tiny things that you change once. You change your dishwashing tablets from being the chemical ones to non-chemical. That's a massive jump, massive saving in money, but also a massive jump in, your health. Laundry detergent, huge saving. Get rid of all those cleaning products. Actually, get rid of them. Don't wait and use them. Oh, I'm going to finish them off. No, don't finish them off. It's more chemicals you're putting inside yourself. Just get rid of them. Make those simple choices now, and it's incredible what your health and how you'll benefit. Water. Stop buying plastic bottles. Full stop. Stop. You're drinking plastic. You're putting more plastic. Get a simple water bottle. That will probably save you $20 a week. So all these little things that you can do, save the planet, save yourself, save your health, and save your wealth.